Today's the day. Sorry about this calendar. June 16th, or what it should say, is my 2-year anniversary of getting into Warhammer, and also my birthday. What a journey this has been for me. The good, the bad, and the admech. I figured it would be fun to make a video on this adventure for me, not only because I think it is a fun story, but also because I hope to bring some advice for those who are new, and provide a retrospective of my experiences in their entirety. So let's start the story with Part 0. The Kindling. I was unaware at the time, but I really think that life was subtly grooming me towards getting into Warhammer. Ever since I was a kid, I've been on YouTube. I have always seen Warhammer content in passing, a Space Marine here, Blood for the Blood God there. I have a really distinct memory of Space Marines beating up Sonic characters, but I had no interest in Warhammer. I had Star Wars. My family loved Star Wars, so I was always watching Star Wars content, and I ate it up. All of the original trilogy, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Rebels, the prequels. I like Solo, Rogue One, Episode 7, and even the so-so Episode 8 I vibed with. Except for how dirty they did Admiral Akbar. Never forget. Anyway, that is all to say that my faith in Star Wars was strong. Then Episode 9 happened.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
And that really messed with my faith in Star Wars. Not enough to jump overboard, but enough to crack my nostalgia glasses just a bit. Then the flood of TV series began to be released. Stuff like The Bad Batch that would have slapped before Episode 9 just felt lifeless to me. And then there was the Obi-Wan TV series that had some cool moments, but was mostly just nonsensical. But what really broke me was the Book of Boba Fett. This was a series I was excited for, because I truly love Boba Fett, and his scenes in The Mandalorian, although there were few, were really good. And having a series that followed Boba Fett taking over Jabba's criminal empire and becoming the new gang lord of Tatooine sounded amazing. I was in college at the time of its release, and me and my friends decided to watch all the episodes together at the dorm lounges, and man, it killed any interest I had in Star Wars.
This is the most obnoxious thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Even series that I've heard were really good, like Endor, I didn't even bother because the interest just wasn't there. I still love fantasy and sci-fi, but I no longer had my universe, you know? So for a little while after, I just kind of wandered from one different fantasy universe to another. My girlfriend got me watching Lord of the Rings, don't ask why it took me so long to get into, and that was really nice. Started reading a lot of manga, and that was also good, but nothing really took my attention the same way Star Wars did, until the morning of my 23rd birthday, exactly 2 years ago, and I saw a video that was my Part 1 first spark. I usually watch the Cosmonaut Variety Hour for their reviews on movies and for his funny clips when he watched the Transformer movies.
You betrayed yourself.
No, Optimus!
So I clicked on his Why You Should Play Warhammer and How video because I had nothing better to do, and it popped on my feed. And man, it all just clicked. All the clips I've seen before that I thought I forgot all came rushing back. This universe looks so interesting. What is a Space Marine? Why do people worship some dude on a throne? And why is everything amazingly terrible? And look at these models. They're so cool. I literally never had interest in models until this video. And suddenly, I just wanted to paint some little dudes. Within the span of this 34-minute video, I decided that I would embark on the quest of getting into Warhammer. And I mean quest, because Warhammer, no matter how many starter sets there are, is hard to get into. But this video gave me a good idea on where to start, with Kill Team, which is probably my first piece of advice for newer players. Kill Team is a whole different game that uses models that 9 times out of 10 are usable in 40k. It is a skirmish type game where you just need one kit that contains models ranging from 5 to 12. It is far more affordable to get into than baseline 40k, and following Cosmonaut's advice, I decided to purchase a kit for Kill Team. The previous day when I was calling my mom, she asked me if I wanted anything for my birthday. I couldn't think of anything, so I told her I would let her know. And after this video, I knew I would ask for my first Warhammer kit. But what army? Also following Cosmonaut's really solid advice, which is advice you hear all around the Warhammer community, and it is to choose the faction you think looks coolest. Because you're not going to have fun if the models don't look cool to you. So in the same morning in class, I was looking up all Warhammer 40k factions. I think it was an old wargaming article about it, and it took me less than a minute to decide what faction I wanted. It was even before I saw most of the other factions. Okay, Sister Battle, they look cool. Custodes are a bit too shiny. Oh, what's this? The moment I saw the Skitarii Rangers, I knew they were the ones. It was love at first sight, and I said yes, I would be an Adeptus Mechanicus player. But before purchasing anything, I felt like I needed more lore on, well, literally everything. I knew nothing, and so I tuned to a very popular 40k video that I would highly recommend, Bricky's Every Single Warhammer 40k Faction Explained videos, which does a good job at simplifying the lore of each faction and the lore of 40k in general. In this video, I learned of the Imperium of Man, a rotting corpse of an empire that worships a corpse god emperor. I learned of the Eldari, and through their hubris and excess giving birth to a chaos god. I learned of chaos, and all the demons and other gods that exist there. And I learned of the Adeptus Mechanicus, the machine cult from Mars that believes that there is a spirit within all machines, worshipping technology and trying to receive enlightenment by getting rid of those disgusting fleshy human bits and replacing them with holy machine. And pun intended, that sounded metal. I would highly recommend this video if you're new. He actually recently released an updated version of this video that is really good, but I prefer the original, but that's mostly because of my nostalgia. Those videos will be in the description. With that in mind, I called my mom, sent a link to the Skitarii Rangers, and she purchased it for me on the Games Workshop website. I only realized later that you probably shouldn't purchase things directly from Games Workshop whenever possible, because there will always be a cheaper option for items, like on Amazon or at your local gaming store, which is my next piece of advice. From watching Cosmonaut's video to ordering Skitarii Rangers all happened within the span of like 6 hours. Something inside of me told me, yes, this is going to be my new hobby. I even started an Instagram page a couple days later to record all of my experiences. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how, but it got hacked where I no longer have access to the page, like they changed the password and the email address and all that stuff. They haven't done anything on it, so you can check it out if you're interested, but I won't post anything new because, well, I can't. Before I got my beloved Skitarii kit, I wanted to prepare. My mom ordered the kit before I even figured out how to play AdMech or even how Kill Team works. It was in this study that I realized how lucky I got. For some reason, I thought that every basic unit from each faction can be used in Kill Team. I was wrong. At this time, most factions had their own special Kill Team kits that you should buy if you want to play Kill Team. But luckily, AdMech did not have a special Kill Team kit, and so the Skitarii Rangers would not be dead in the water. Dodged a bullet on that one. Next piece of advice, research before you purchase. Should go without saying, but I didn't, so got lucky, so haha. After the research, I discovered that AdMech fight using 4 different model types that can be bought from 2 kits. The Skitarii Rangers and Vanguard from the Skitarii kit, and the Sicarian Infiltrators and Ruststalkers from the Sicarian kit. I figured I just wouldn't worry about the Sicarians for now, and decided to build the Skitarii kit into half Rangers and half Vanguard. I also looked up how to paint and some good tips and tricks. Dry brushing is a good method for new players, I think, and I also ordered some acrylic paint and matte black primer. During summer break when I returned home from college, I got the kit and began making them, and I just really like this photo. I was so excited to start painting. I don't even know why I had wire strippers. I think I was like, oh yeah, I don't have wire cutters, but you know, wire strippers are close enough. I ended up just using scissors to cut them. Advice, don't. I broke like half of my Skitarii backpacks, and you can get wire cutters really cheap online or at a hardware store. And even with all the videos and the prep, I really didn't know what I was doing. I was mostly just going off of vibes, and it led to, honestly, a pretty decent result, I think. Here are my first 6, and I was really happy with how they turned out. And then I finished the last 4 with my girlfriend when she came to visit. And boom, I got my first 10 models, and they look pretty good. I mean, are they perfect? Of course not, but I was able to make them look halfway decent, and I got some honest to good pride in my accomplishment. But in order to play Kill Team, you need someone else to fight against. And my college, BYU Hawaii, was in Laie, Hawaii, with no Warhammer fans I knew of living anywhere near there. Just a bunch of boring surfers and hikers and outdoorsy people. Disgusting. This is a joke, I like surfing, but the point still stands. Who was I gonna play with? Well, while I was getting into 40k, I didn't just keep to myself. I was telling my friends about it and convinced 2 of my friends to get into Kill Team with me. They would share the other Kill Team, and I did research this time, and we decided that they should get the Legionnaires Kill Team, because one box has 10 models, but you only run 6 at a time, so you can mix and match the team composition to have a lot of replayability. I purchased the box for them real cheap on eBay. eBay gave me a really good deal. It was like $40 for the whole Legionnaires box. I wonder why. Okay, so turns out I didn't do enough research, because there are 2 different types of Legionnaires box, the normal one and the Kill Team one. There's a difference. I didn't know that, which bummer, but my friends were chill with it because they really liked the kit bashing aspect of it. Oh wait, I haven't talked about kit bashing yet. Let's talk about kit bashing. Kit bashing is one of my favorite parts of the hobby. Kit bashing is using whatever pieces you have to make a different model. And because we didn't have the exact pieces to make a proper Legionnaires Kill Team, we just went crazy with choices. I also purchased the Sicarian box so that I would have something to paint while they were painting. And in our painting and creating sessions, I was able to make my first very own kit bash. You see, a Sicarian box has an extra torso. I took leftover gun arms from the Skitarii box and turned them into legs for this crazy Sicarian Sicarian infiltrator, which my headcanon is that it is a Sicarian with a really strong connection to machine spirits. It lost its legs in combat, but commanded the machine spirits in those robot arms around it to form up and act as new legs. And he's also insane. It's a little bit messy, but I still love him. As we began working on all these new models, I was in the background prepping for the game. I got the board, also eBay, and started making terrain. And even now, I really think I killed it with the terrain I built. I got basic walls and styrofoam, and I made a sick building made from leftover sprue and cardboard. And does this not look fire? And about a month after we got the Legionnaires kit, we were able to finish our respective kill teams. It took a little over 2 full months since I got into the hobby, but we finally played part 2, Kill Team. My first Kill Team match with my friends was a bit of a mess. Like, I was trying to teach them the rules, but I didn't quite know the rules well myself. It was the blind leading the blind. I also had to homebrew some data sheets for some Legionnaire models that they kit bashed. Like the guy with 2 swords, he'll be the Berserker. Dude with 2 guns? He's 6 inches away, he can double his amount of shots, but he hits on 5s now. But it was a fun mess, and we began to make it into a weekly thing. I would set up the terrains, friends would visit, we would fight, and repeat. It was a good time. Deep down, I still don't think we ever fully played a correct game of Kill Team, but that didn't matter. After we got comfortable, we started making our own campaigns and growing our model count. One of the friends bought a Grey Knight Strike Squad. No rules for them. We made rules for them. I found a Battle Sister squad for $20 on eBay. No rules for them. We made rules for them. And I bought some Infernus Marines that I kit bashed from spare bits I got off eBay and made rules for them as well. But most importantly, I got the AdMech Boarding Patrol to get all the options for my kill team, as well as getting some cool new models to play with. And I really think that once we started using the Tech Priest Dominus and Cataphrons in the campaign, it got the most fun. For the campaigns, I was the dungeon master, shall we say. I was making the story, and I would use the Cataphrons and the Tech Priests to act as mini bosses for them to go against. And it was so much fun. The process of painting, playing, and some advice if you're with your friends. Rules matter, but if they want to do something cool, I don't think it matters all that much. Like if someone wants to make a charge on your Cataphron, but he's like half an inch too far away, just let him do it. It makes the game more fun, and that's what it's about. In a competitive match, you can be strict, but with friends, the main goal is to have fun, so just do what's the most fun. While all this is happening, I started getting into Warhammer books as well. At first, I read the Scatarius and Tech Priest books to get more juicy AdMech lore. Then I immediately took a dive off the deep end and decided to start working on the Horus Heresy series, an over 50 book series. Really good series, but as of now, I'm still not even halfway done with it. I occasionally took breaks and read other books like The Infinite and the Divine. I recommend that one, but it's been mostly Horus Heresy for me. Anyway, I was fully planning on keeping my models to just Kill Team for all of college because Warhammer is expensive, and I was also living in a small apartment on a top bunk bed with 3 other dudes living there. Hawaii is expensive, but I'd still look at eBay armies and Facebook Marketplace armies just for the fun of it. And on a random night, I struck gold when I checked the marketplace. Part 3, Warhammer 40k tabletop. Now I won't get too detailed about this deal, but to summarize, he was selling 2 lots of models, an AdMech lot and an Imperial Guard lot. The offer was $300 for the AdMech lot, that if it was brand new would be worth roughly $1,000. I jumped on the offer, but when I met him, he just wanted out of the hobby, so for no additional cost, he gave me the Imperial Guard army as well as his terrain and paint, that if also was brand new would be worth an additional $800-ish. Needless to say, I was over the moon. My mind was racing. I went from keeping maybe a few of these models and then breaking even, to keeping a lot of these models and then possibly making a profit. I can even play a normal 40k match with this. Next piece of advice, if you want to get into Warhammer 40k, just get really lucky. Increase your luck by doom scrolling eBay instead of Instagram. I ended up keeping the Unit Electro Priest, 2 Castellan robots, an Onager Crawler, and 4 spare Scutari, and the Metal Tech Priest Engine Seer. And everything else was either sold or given away because, quite frankly, I didn't have the space for it. But what I had now was enough. I had over 1,000 points of Warhammer, and once again, I got lucky. I saw on a local board game store's Facebook page that they were hosting a teaching Warhammer event. Okay, I say local, but I mean it was on the same island, so it was still over an hour drive, but I wasn't looking this gift horse in the mouth. And I took that opportunity, brought my mess of models with me, and went against this guy in the army, while another dude, also in the army, watched over the match and taught me how to play. My opponent played Death Guard, and boy howdy, he straight mollywopped me. He took me out to the pasture. I was a fish in a barrel, and I loved it. I played Warhammer. It was so exciting. I didn't care one bit that I lost. You know that childhood excitement you get when you got a new toy and it was better than you expected? And there was just such a pure joy to it. I felt that in that game. My opponent was a pretty nice dude, and more importantly, it was the first time I interacted in person with someone who was into Warhammer, and he added me to the Oahu Warhammer group chat, and suddenly my friend group wasn't the only Warhammer players on the island. And we still did our weekly Warhammer painting and kill team sessions, but now I was making the hour drives to Honolulu to play bigger games every other week. And very pleasant surprise, and I don't know if this is the same experience that everyone else has, but literally everyone I have ever met in person while playing Warhammer has been super kind. Like, from what I have experienced, everyone's super willing to help you out with questions, and they're forgiving if you get the rules wrong. I think one of my funniest experiences was my second Warhammer match. It was with this other military dude. A lot of guys in the military like Warhammer, by the way, and I drove to his house to play. It was like half the distance to Honolulu, which was nice. I never met the dude in person, but he seemed chill. I walked into his house and he showed me his Dark Angels models that looked amazing, and then he was like, I got more models in my bedroom. And in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have entered a guy I met on the internet's room because he has more models. But for what it's worth, he really did. He had an Angron which was sick. There's no point to this story, I just thought it was funny. That guy's real chill. I still message him from time to time. Anyway, I kept this habit of getting more and more into Warhammer until the apex of Warhammer in Hawaii, which was part 4. My intro to Warhammer. So at this time, it was almost my 24th birthday, which meant my 1-year anniversary of getting into Warhammer, and my friends wanted to know what I wanted to do for the day. My friend group was about 11 college students, and I only got 2.5 of them into Warhammer. And so for my birthday, amongst hanging out, I wanted to sit them all down, hear me tell all the lore of Warhammer summed up into what I thought would be around an hour, and they agreed. I ready to give them a show to remember. So I went to work, and in the end, I prepared a slideshow with 212 slides with almost no words whatsoever, just pictures. I wasn't even reading a script. I had all my slides memorized. And to make sure they were listening, I had a Kahoot at the end. My birthday present had them bringing pens and papers to take notes on slides. And it did not take an hour. No, it took 2. And the best thing of all is that my friends are good people, and they actually tried to comprehend everything I said. They asked questions and followed up. I was so flattered, and after the 2 hours, we all watched Astartes together. Truly, it was an amazing birthday gift. I tried to have someone record the whole thing, but they forgot. That being said, I would be so down to redo this presentation with the original slides as a YouTube video if people are interested. And I think that was the first spark that made me want to start a YouTube channel about Warhammer, because insane rambling is kind of fire. Part 5. The end of Hawaii. So at this part in time in my life, I graduated from college, still working in Hawaii, and waiting for my application for the JET program to come through. Ever since I was young, I wanted to work in Japan. I already lived there briefly before, but the stay was cut short due to COVID. The JET, Japanese Exchange Teaching Program, would have me become an ALT or assisted language teacher and help teach Japanese children English. After months of waiting, I found out I was accepted, and thus began my downsizing. I sold my car, a lot of my clothes, and some of my Warhammer models. I knew I couldn't bring most of them with me, so I planned to bring just enough for a 1,000-point game if I ended up in one of the few places in Japan that was close to a Warhammer store. In the JET program, you can request places to be sent to, but in the end, you don't really have a say. But either way, I was just happy to go to Japan, and was preparing to have Warhammer be downsized to just some painting projects. And I was also looking forward to just not living on an island. They told me I was going to go to an even smaller island.
Life is pain!
I was to be sent to a small island in the Kagawa prefecture called Shodoshima. And with that knowledge in mind, I left behind all of my models at my mom's, except for the ones that were still painting projects. Part 6. Isolation bred innovation. Now, I don't want to get too detailed about my time as an ALT in Shodoshima because that isn't really the point of the video, but suffice to say that the people in Shodoshima are extremely nice, my fellow teachers are amazing, the students are sometimes annoying but mostly really nice kids, and it has been one hell of an adventure for me. But I can't help but feel a bit lonely. Everyone's friendly, but there ain't much to do in Shodoshima. But as an ALT, I worked far less hours and had a lot of free time. So I made the most of it, hitting up pretty much every and any popular city within my vicinity on the weekends. And during the weekdays, I did quite a bit of painting Warhammer models. But it really wasn't the same. It wasn't as fun. I didn't have people to talk to while painting. I missed my Oahu friend group. But then I remembered the joy I felt making the Warhammer slideshow for my friends and decided, screw it. If I have enough time, let's try to make a YouTube channel. Which I feel like everyone my age has had that idea at some point, but I was in a situation where I had an abundance of time to do so, and after a couple weeks of slowly prepping, my first video came out, and it was okay. And it was about new AdMech models I'd like to see. It's definitely not a quality video, but it was mine. And it's what got this YouTube channel rolling. And it got 10 views at first, which was super exciting to me. And a subscriber. Someone subscribed to me. That's so flattering. But then my second video came out about new kill team ideas, and I thought I would get maybe 20 views, but it popped the frick off and got over like 200 views in like 2 days, and till this day is the most viewed regular video I have. So if this new video could beat that, that'd be pretty nice. But after a couple of videos, I began to think that it would be fun to make shorts as well, maybe even a series. That'd be exciting. But what to do? Something that there isn't a lot of online already? Lore videos are already done by a lot of other channels and better than I could ever do, like Lysander and Coda or Live from the Black Library. Pure rules videos I would probably fail at because my rules knowledge is not the best. But then I saw the 2024 Winter Battle Force box sets and thought, I feel like I can make better versions of these. And thus, my first series was born, where I attempted to prove each of the box sets. I'm really happy with how these first 6 shorts came out. The series is also inspired decently from the Warhammer podcast's Making Custom Combat Patrols videos. Y'all should watch them too, by the way. And as I was working on these shorts, I realized how fun these types of shorts are. Each video felt like a puzzle game to me. How do I improve the points, discounts, and model choices all within reason? And these videos did pretty well. I mean, well, for someone like me. I think within 2 weeks of releasing these videos, most of them reached over 1,000 views. So naturally, once I finished those videos, I started working on combat patrols, and thus began a really steady growth of this channel. There was some spikes in views and subscribers, like the first video of making a custom combat patrol for each chapter in Warband, and the comments. Ooh, the comments. It is crazy how consistently kind y'all are. The majority of the people, even if they disagree with me, which, fair by the way, they say it in such a nice way, like, hey, I respect your video. I think your model choice isn't the best, but you are doing a good job. And like, that's so nice. This is my first time getting an online presence, and I'm sure all of you know stories of the toxicity that is on YouTube and just online in general, and I'm happy to say that I have got almost none of that. And this YouTube channel helped get rid of that feeling of isolation of the hobby to a pretty decent degree. And I just want to say thank you, by the way. Y'all are great. Anyway, that being said, I still miss the playing the Warhammer aspect of the hobby. While I was in Japan, I bought and painted a Drukhari combat patrol as a painting project, and during my adventures around Japan, I was able to find a handful of Warhammer stores. The closest one to me was in Kobe, and when I visited there, I was added to the Kobe Warhammer group chat, and I did the math. If I really wanted to, I could travel 4 hours by bus, boat, and bus again to the Kobe Warhammer store, play a match, and then travel 4 hours back all within the same day while protecting a cardboard box filled with fragile elves. But no, that's ridiculous, and it's such a time commitment, and I would even have to learn how to play Warhammer in Japanese. Nah, I shouldn't, but I did. And man, it felt good playing again. I got wrecked, but that didn't matter. So what if it took 4 hours to get there and 5 hours to get back? I missed my last bus, so I had to walk back, so it took an extra hour. But like, that didn't matter, it was fun. Part 7. Where I am right now. This is where we finally reached the present day. I am still working on growing my Drukhari army. I'm making some real fun kit bashes with them, occasionally spending a whole day to play one match of Warhammer, and still making Warhammer videos online. Now at my 2-year anniversary of getting into this hobby, as well as my 21st birthday, and I'm just happy. I really think that Warhammer has something special. The fans are great, the lore is great, and the game is great. Is it perfect? Definitely not, but I like it nonetheless. I think some last pieces of advice I can give for new people is don't be afraid to ask questions. Warhammer players are 9 out of 10 more than willing to help, and I personally have not met that 1 out of 10 person who sucks that apparently exists. Take your time with the hobby. You don't need to buy everything all at once. I recommend eBay. It's never failed me personally, and it allows you to get a good discount on things. And just enjoy the hobby. Don't force yourself to do parts of the hobby that you don't enjoy. If you only like the lore, you don't need to get into the models. If you don't like painting but love the game, you can just do speed paints to get it over with. Have fun, and I hope Warhammer treats you as good as it has treated me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have watched this far, please consider subscribing. I know short form content typically does better, so it would be great to see that this video doing good. Anyway, y'all are great, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!